All right.
Gosh. Yep.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to my panel. This is for BakaCon 2021. I'm Chase, and over there, sitting on the left, as always, it's
Jeff.
in the middle, it's
George.
and on the right, it's the one and only
Eric.
That's right. And we are here today for my panel, which is called Kotaro Uchikoshi and How to Present a Story.
Who's that?
Who's that? Good question.
It's
Well,
Kotaro Uchikoshi.
He is the man who has created a series of games that I know a certain someone has played most of, and I know I've played all of, but I don't think many people in the audience have actually played. So,
No, I know.
this is Kotaro Uchikoshi,
Try
and
me.
everything he does, that's really, really cool.
You haven't played any of this stuff.
You sure?
We have the man,
We'll find out.
we have the myth, and we have the legend, Kotaro Uchikoshi. This is just pictures of
Go
him.
go
that I
back go
found on
back go
it.
back a slide.
Oh,
These
yeah,
are the same.
That's funny. That's not. He actually did separate slides for each picture instead
Wait,
of adding it on.
hit it.
See, watch it change. See,
Oh, you're right.
don't worry. Chase,
yeah,
we
you
love
see-
you.
you
You're
see
good.
a picture
Yeah,
of him.
yeah, we
Yeah,
love
yeah,
you.
My boy doesn't animate. I like it.
Yeah, yeah. So this is Kotaro Uchikoshi. This is just some pictures of him that I found on the internet. And I also want to note you guys to notice that this picture looks kind of familiar, doesn't it? You're probably thinking, where have I seen this before?
Wait, I know. I know what that is.
It does look oddly
it anyway.
familiar.
You're probably thinking, this looks very familiar to one of our own BakaTaka members doing a certain kind of
Oh,
stance
no.
similar to this one. And you are right.
Oh crap!
That is the one and only Jeff.
Oh, that's actually not where I was going. I was gonna say you look like a PS5.
That's me though.
Oh, yeah. See, he's imitating Kotaro Uchikoshi. Oh, Uchikoshi-san, notice me, please.
That's me.
What?
Nani?
Fool.
Now, Kotaro Uchikoshi.
Yeah, I
is
played
a-
999.
Yeah,
Great
Zero
game.
Escape game.
I didn't finish it.
Okay. So
Yes,
you-
they are very, very visual novel.
They are visual.
They're
novels.
visual novels. Yeah.
Yeah, they're.
Puzzle game.
Yeah, we've all played them before, because I don't know where I was going with this. I didn't prepare at all for this one.
Oh yeah. That's what
But anyways, these are the games that he has made. He has also done. These are the games that he made in the Zero Escape series. He has also done
Don't they
work
call
on
them
another.
the Nonary trilogy?
Yeah.
Isn't that what they
Yes,
call it?
the-
But
Nonary
I believe
games.
there's a nonary.
999 is the Nonary game.
Yes, the
but I thought
first-
the whole series was called the Nonary game.
Yes. So
No, it's
trilogy.
it's
The
so it's
zero-
9. Is 999 the same? The 9 doors, 9.
9
Yeah.
hours, 9 persons.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
That's right.
Yes.
Great game. Oh my god.
Yep. So, and then he made 3 games in total. In fact, one of them, the last one, barely even got made in the process because
Yeah.
he
Still need to beat that.
Yeah, he just made it because we got it kickstarted or whatever. He also did some work on some other games and 2 animes. In fact, there is the Eye the Somnium Files.
Yep. That's what it
the
is.
anime The Girl in Twilight, and the other anime Punchline, which is also animated by Studio Mappa. These are just some other stuff that he's done and whatever. He also, before he did the Zero Escape game, he also worked on the game Infinity Plus. It was released in 2000. It was pretty early on, and you know what? Nobody cares. So we're just gonna move on.
I'm Chase Starkweather.
So-
This is like a,
Technically, so actually, the first game that Kotaro Uchikoshi actually made was the game 999. It was the first of the Zero Escape games. Let me see. It was released on the Nintendo DS back in 2009. That was quite a while ago.
look at
this
that old clamshell.
Yes. So this was it was a little similar to no, what, forget I was saying that. This is
JK.
Yeah, no, right. When he created this game, they figured it would probably do pretty good in the West based on what the game is pretty much about, which is similar to like
Yeah. Setting,
not
characters.
not as
Hey, is
story
this your
wise, but
panel?
it's what's up?
It's not his pin. Sorry. Eric
Go
was
ahead.
interrupting.
Oh, okay, that's fine. So, these games have a antagonist known as Zero, and he is very mischievous. Oh wait, wrong slide. This is the real Zero. This is Zero. He is the bad guy of the games. Well, specifically this one, 999. Let me see. So the games revolve around pretty much visual novels and doing puzzles, similar to they work a little bit different in all of them, but it's pretty much find this and figure out what it does in the room, because they're escape the room games is pretty much what they are. Escape the room with visual novels, trying to figure out why you're even here in the first place.
So which came first, escape rooms or 999?
Well, this was only back in 2009, so
I think this would have happened before escape rooms took off, but escape room games
They've been
did
around for a
exist
while.
I mean,
Yeah.
like locked room mystery murder has been.
Oh yeah, that's true.
yeah.
Like basically Clue.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
So let me see. So in my opinion, personally, I think that this is one of the first games that really kind of mastered the flow chart. If you go through the game, similar to like other visual novels where you actually go through and you like see the whole story and stuff like that, and then you're like, well, what if I did this? Well, this is the kind of game where it kind of actually wraps things up, because the more you progress through the flow chart, it gets a little bit more complicated, and then adds like adds more levels to each thing. Also, considering that you're only going through one path and you don't really know it's a flow chart until you get to the first ending, and then you're like, oh, it's a flow chart. Things kind of get a little complicated and go all over the place and stuff. So they kind of like a little intimidating when you look at it like that, because you're just like, where am I supposed to go? But that's why he doesn't reveal the fact that it's a flow chart until you actually get through the game the first time. And then it reveals that it is a flow chart. And so you don't know if you're making a bad decision or not until you get later on. This is what the 999 timeline looks like. It's a little complicated, but we're not going to stand on that too much. Anyways, the characters. These are the characters for the 999 game. As you can see, they're very stylized. This is just pretty much the, concept art. This is how they represent, or how they showed the characters off, like during trailers and stuff. The actual sprites for the game are actually pretty well designed, in my opinion, I think. And you can see that they keep this illustration art pretty the same for later Zero Escape games. As you can see for 999, Virtue's Last Reward,
Is that
and
Yoko
Zero Time
Taro's
Dilemma.
character clear on the right?
Was that?
Close.
It looks like a character from Yoko Taro game clear on the right there. Drakengard and whatever.
It pretty much looks like Emil a little bit. Let me see. So one of the big concepts around 999 specifically is the digital roots system. It's pretty much how you progress through things and how you decide how to continue the story as, because you have to do it by following the rules of the digital roots, and then that's pretty much how you decide who you go with, who you can go with in the first place, and stuff. It basically lets you progress through the game naturally, but at the same time, as long as you understand this concept, you understand that the game's also following its own rules. It's not just kind of, who do you want to go with this time? It's more of, who can you go with?
Yeah.
So, all in all, the average play time for 999 is about 35 to 40 hours. I thought that was a little weird because I didn't feel like it took that long for me.
No.
But that might have been because I played the Nonary Games collection, which had voice acting in it, and you can auto scroll through it. So the game pretty much just progresses on its own. You can let it do that. And
So you didn't really play it.
No. I pretty much watched a Let's Play of it. That's pretty much what I did. So
Really, all visual novels are just watching Let's Plays.
'Cause I had to read when I played it.
999 ends as a fulfilling game with a hint of something bigger. I think that's pretty. That's pretty agreed on. Wouldn't you say, George?
I think that's good.
Yeah, it's because you're by the end of it. We were talking earlier, the closure. You definitely get closure by the end of the game, but at the same time, you can tell that he's setting something up.
Yeah.
There's going to be more 999.
There's more to come. Yeah.
Yep. Which brings us to the sequel, Virtue's Last Reward. This one was released in 2012 on the Nintendo 3DS and PlayStation No Games Vita.
I was about to say, what is that system there on the right? I don't know if I've ever seen that thing before.
Yeah, it looks like a weird PSP, doesn't it?
It does, yeah.
Some crazy creation that someone probably made or whatever.
Garbage.
So, if I'm not mistaken, this is the second year that the PlayStation Vita was actually in like its life cycle or whatever, because I believe it came out in 2011, if I'm not mistaken.
Really?
This game was also led by the antagonist Zero. Ha ha ha. Yes, he's looking a little bit different than he was in the first game, but it's that you got to play the game to find out why that is and stuff. This game revolves around the question, will you choose to ally or betray? That's pretty much the recurring point for this game specifically.
Yeah, it's all about like the prisoner's dilemma.
Yes, very much so. So it's always giving you the option. You can either, the game explains itself as if your number gets down to 0, you get stabbed with poison, pretty much. Your wristwatch stabs you with poison and you die.
Yep.
Pretty much.
Solid.
So in order for you to gain or lose points, possibly, you have to pretty much do the prisoner's dilemma. So what this does is pretty much if you choose to ally, and the other person chooses to ally, I believe you both gain 1 point, if I'm not mistaken.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. And if you choose to ally and the other person chooses to betray, then you lose points, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, something like that.
And they
Either
gain
lose or-
2 points, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, so the payout's bigger, but there's a risk.
And then if you both choose to betray, if I'm not mistaken, it's either nothing happens or you both lose.
Yeah, I think it's both lose.
Yeah, both lose points. So, yeah, pretty much you're trying to get yours up to 9 because there is a number in all the games, pretty much. There's a number 9 door. Whoever gets to 9 first gets to go out, but only that person. Only the person who has a 9 on their wristwatch is allowed to leave because otherwise you get stabbed with poison and you die. So everyone's trying to get to 9. Everyone's trying not to get to 0. And that's pretty much the ebb and flow of all these games. And yeah, we got some, the Prisoner's
Zero
Dilemma.
senpai.
Oh no. So, right. I had a slide of it where it actually like explains,
there you go.
the ally and betray process
Okay.
and everything. And the game also, has some very interesting characters that go along with
Earth
it.
is
As you
going
can
on
see,
there.
yeah, there's a bunch of craziness going on. Whenever the Prisoner's Dilemma always comes up with, it always does this cool slide where the zooms in on each character comic book style, and it's just like, they're like, I don't know what's gonna happen, and then it reveals what happens.
Yeah, and the
You know?
characters are all really good in both games,
Both
99 and
Virtue's Last Reward.
Absolutely.
Great characters.
Characters are probably one of the strongest points of these games.
Which is what you're going to need to carry you through something like this.
Absolutely.
Similar to the digital roots, this one does a color system. It's pretty much everyone has a specific set of colors on their wristwatch. Usually, if I'm not mistaken, it's primary colors.
And they change.
And
primary colors.
Not primary colors, but mostly, and they change based on who you mix your color with.
Yeah.
To go through specific.
That's what it is. Yeah, you're right.
And so there's there's other colors doors. There's not only these colors, whatever. So there's like red, blue, green, pink, yellow, teal, I guess that is, and stuff. And the combination of the colors allows you to go through. Similar concept. It still follows the same rules. The game isn't just like, hey, like who do you want to go with? It's who can you go with. Brings us to the characters. As you can see, Virtue's Last Reward has the same awesome style of characters for the concept art, at least. Unfortunately, when Virtue's Last Reward was created, it was kind of a little bit more rushed than 999 was, and they had to go with 3D models, as you could have seen with some of the previous slides, like with K down, K down here at the bottom. So, it doesn't actually have the sharpness that the 999 had, but it still carries the weight of the character. Like the characters are still there. They're still really good and well designed. And
It works well.
Yeah. I thought this was strange, but apparently, according to everyone, the completion rating for this is about 30 to 40 hours, which I thought was kind of the opposite.
Is that like for 100% or?
This is for completing the game, the average completion time. I thought that was very strange considering Virtue's Last Reward took me I would say 60 hours to beat the original one. And I wasn't really taking my time with it. I was kind of going through the game but I don't know. Maybe it was the puzzle rooms that added the time. I don't know. That might just be me. Virtue's Last Reward is a wordy sequel that demands a sequel of its own. Virtue's Last Reward uses less Wikipedia drops and adds in a lot more stakes and thrills. Wikipedia drops being there's random points in the game where the characters are just deciding to read a Wikipedia page.
Info dump everything to
they
you.
just
give you
drop
information.
So much information sometimes.
And they're basically explaining things like the Prisoner's Dilemma or something.
Yeah.
Like, have you ever heard of blah, blah, blah theory or whatever? It's
2
just
hours
like,
later.
yeah. And then you proceed for the game.
Yeah.
After Virtue's Last Reward, we get Zero Time Dilemma. As I was mentioning before, it's a miracle this game came out in the first place. It was not necessarily supposed to because these games were only actually big in the West. They weren't even big in Japan.
That's crazy.
They were much bigger here, and they weren't even that big. They are still niche here. So the fact that Zero Time Dilemma, Kotaro Uchikoshi actually got the chance to finish his series by a Kickstarter. He got the game funded, and it got approved. Unfortunately, it's a little bit of a kind of rushed design.
Not as clean.
Yeah, you'll see it a bit later. This one was released in 2016 on PC, PS4, what is a PlayStation Vita, and Nintendo 3DS. All these consoles. So it's expanding. It's coming on everything. I thought that was a good edition because I actually personally played it on PC. I was playing it on Vita, but then I kind of lost interest because I had to pull out my handheld all the time. Whereas when it was on PC, I actually got to, enjoy the game a little bit more because it was all around. This game was also had an antagonist named Zero who fittingly, they're at least they're changing it up each time, it's looking a little bit different than others. Yeah. This game was a lot darker. It was a little bit more grim than the other ones. Yeah.
Almost
so
like Saw kind of stuff.
Oh,
yes.
wow.
Yeah. And it wasn't the other games had thrills added to them. Like they would make your hands sweat like all the time with the anticipation of what's coming next. And it would usually be shown in like a cut to like, oh, here's a person and they have the crazy eyes, the yandere eyes or whatever. And so that's pretty much how the game handled itself. The two previous games handled themselves. And then until this one where it's actually like, no, let's actually get a little bit more violent because this is the final oorah for Kotaro Uchikoshi. Now, unfortunately, like I was mentioning earlier, the game kind of gets a little bit 3D model-ish, and it's not entirely good all the time, as you can see for some of these slides.
Trails of Cold Steel stuff
Yeah,
there.
where the character designs kind of just look a little plasticky.
Oh,
Flat.
it's very.
Yeah, and it's not the best, and it leaves a lot to be desired. So,
Yikes.
unlike the previous games, this game actually splits off from the one main character route and adds in 3 main characters. There's 3 different routes that you can go by, and each are led by a different main character. And it's told a little bit different, more kind of like the Telltale's The Walking Dead kind of style with the puzzles, not with the puzzles, but I mean with how it presents the story, less visual novel-y, more Telltale kind of style. So as you can see, what's it called? Zero Time Dilemma still keeps these character designs for the concept art at least, because they got them to bring back. And as you can probably tell, these characters kind of look a little stylish, like almost kind of like this was actually a little bit normal stuff to wear, other than like 3 of the characters I'd say or whatever and stuff. But like you wouldn't think like an anime character right off the bat if you saw someone wearing these clothes like walking down the street or something like that. They actually kind of look somewhat realistic or whatever when they did these. But as you can tell, with the 3D models, it didn't really hold up as well with the character designs, unfortunately. Let me see. Zero Time Dilemma is a lot shorter than the others. It takes about 25 to 30 hours. I think it took even less than that for me because it wasn't very long. It's a miracle that the Zero Time Dilemma exists at all. Zero Time Dilemma is an excellent end to a superb series. This is my opinion, at least, and stuff. So, I mean, you could probably play this and not feel the same, but I definitely think that these are some of the best told storytelling games ever. Let me see. So, afterwards,
Cough.
yeah, I know. After Zero Time Dilemma was released, they actually got Access Games got some, I guess, ability to release the games in HD as the Nonary collection games. Mm-hmm. So now you can pretty much play all 3 games through just 2 collections, either just the Nonary games and the Zero Time Dilemma game, which are on PS4 and Steam as well. So you can play these pretty much. I mean, you can play them on these 2, but you don't need to buy all 3 games, and you don't need to play them on the DS or the 3DS or the Vita. You can play them on these, which is definitely the recommended way to play them.
Oh no, they were pretty good on DS.
Now, Kotaro Uchikoshi, what's he gonna do now? Well, I'll tell you what he's gonna do now. It's 2019. Kotaro Uchikoshi is like, it's not done yet. He's gonna make the Somnium Files, released on Steam, Switch, and PlayStation 4. Kotaro Uchikoshi, this is pretty much the game that he could have made if he actually had the budget to make. This is probably one of his best games, if not the best, in my opinion, at least. It's a game that isn't held back by low budget or whatever. He can actually produce things of quality in this one, and he he gets to take on a different tone that's not really as available unless it's on more of a mandatory system. It's not really as done as well on handhelds, is what I'm saying. So even though the Switch is there, but I mean that's like a hybrid. We don't know that.
It's
Stuff like
close
that.
enough.
Yeah, so he got to keep some very good character designs, as you can see. Everyone kind of looks really bizarre or like, out there. They stand out enough to basically, you could see the silhouettes of these characters and then be able to
Teddy.
identify who they're. Yeah. As well as not only just, accepting the fact that he's a kind of like a niche creator, Kotaro Uchikoshi had the idea of actually going to promote this game a little bit more. So what he decided to do was create a YouTube channel. That's right. Back when HoloLive was first starting out, like around, it was already.
As we both look at Eric.
Yeah, I
Eric
know.
knows about this, right?
Yeah.
VTubers.
VTubers. That's pretty much what he did. He had one of the characters in the game run a YouTube channel leading up to the release of the Somnium Files. This is also in Japanese, but also they made an English version as well.
Amazing.
Yes. So no matter where you were, you could still watch the lead up series of YouTube videos leading up to the release of the game the Somnium Files. Let me see. As well as that, he had got to add in a little bit more humor to this game because it's a little bit more easier to do it with how the game is designed, where it's more of interacting with things and seeing how they work and deciding on very crazy choices that you wouldn't normally decide on to progress the story. And pretty much it also coming in with some of the greatest lines ever in a video
Stupid
game.
Bony
Yes.
man.
So, just to show a few of these.
Same.
And also some of the pictures that you just kind of have to scratch your head and say, why a little bit? But, you just kind of have to play the game a little bit to understand. This is pretty much Kotaro Uchikoshi's version of Phoenix Wright, but with a more, not visual novel style. More, well, it is actually very visual novel style, but more of a progressive story and less of a using evidence to prove. That's more of a Danganronpa kind of game. This game is also a little bit shorter. It's only about 25 to 30 hours for completion about it. The Somnium Files, in my opinion, is one of the greatest, one of the greater games to play, and it's definitely one of my favorites of Kotaro Uchikoshi's. Given the few that he's actually been able to helm at this point, and that's why I think Kotaro Uchikoshi earns a little space right in the holy trinity of video game creators. Right there with alongside Fumito Ueda, Yoko Taro, and Kotaro Uchikoshi, all revolving around Hideo Kojima.
There you go. There he
Yes,
is.
Hands are iconic.
Yes, sir.
Great line.
And that is the end of my panel.
I'm all right.
Yeah. Any questions?
So does the Insomnium Files, does that follow like the same kind of
Style?
style as the Nonary games? It's still like
No.
dialogue
No.
and then or is it more action based?
It's more interactive. It wants you to mess with things. So
Okay.
pretty much how the game works is instead of having puzzles like, escape the
not
room
like a
puzzles.
room.
No, yeah, it'll put you in an area and it'll be like mess with things.
Okay.
And when you mess with things, it takes away time, and you only have a certain amount of time to do stuff. So it's like, what are you gonna do? This requires this amount of time. This requires this amount of time, and you have to do some stuff you wouldn't normally do. You got to think outside the
Gotcha.
box because it's in a dream setting.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And does it still have like a flowchart type thing so you can go back to
Yes.
areas and do stuff
Yes.
over again different
As well,
ways and
yeah,
things?
definitely.
Good.
Still has the flow chart.
I like that.
Flows pretty similar to Zero Time Dilemma, where it kind of just keeps moving because it's a little bit. It's got the voice acting. You can literally just hit auto, and the game will kind of keep moving.
Yeah.
But it will progress. You will pretty much want to. You can talk to characters and you can ask specific questions, but you can always go back and just ask the other questions and stuff like that. So it encourages you to just kind of ask all the questions to everybody.
Yeah, you might as well.
Because there's some little Easter eggs hidden throughout that, like, when you actually talk to people.
Okay.
Let me see. So it also the way it's pretty much told is, or the gameplay for it is also similar to it actually has QuickTime events, which are very entertaining because you'd think like, oh, QuickTime events in a game, that's not fun. These ones are for comedic effect. So I I think they
Interesting.
justify their own.
All right.
Yeah. So let me see any more questions.
So, pardon my ignorance. Who's that Joker on the top of the whole?
Yeah,
that is
Eternity.
Fumito Ueda. He is the guy who created Team Eco and now Gen.
Oh, okay.
So Eco, the Shadow of the Colossus, Last Guardian.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Yes. And then
Who made
Yeah.
Danganronpa?
Danganronpa, that's Rocky. Yeah.
Need to play those games though. Anyway.
Yeah, same.
That's
Yeah.
Kevin.
Yeah.
But
So-
I think I'm gonna prioritize these ones now. I
These
have
are-
I
these
have
are
them
really
on
good games.
I have them on Steam. I just
I need to do Zero Time Dilemma and I Insomnium Files. Chase was telling me about back when he was playing it. Sounds really good. I just didn't have time.
I think these games are well worth your time. And
Okay.
as you can see, they're not like,
really long either.
but they're not, they are big,
about to say for visual novels that seem pretty
pretty
short
obtainable. Yeah.
on the shorter end.
Yeah,
There's some
so
long visual.
Yeah. And
yeah, Mavlov.
I don't know if it was just how I was playing it,
They're
but
long.
Virtue's Last Reward was definitely the longest out of all these games for me.
Yeah, Virtue's Last Reward is the longest one.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Whereas 999 was like, it wasn't long, it wasn't short. Whereas Zero Time Dilemma and Hide the Somnium Files, they're almost, or I wouldn't say they're almost, I would say they're the perfect length. They're not too long or too short at all. Yeah, you don't want anything more, you don't want anything less.
Gotcha.
Good. Good.
Any more questions?
Nope, not for me.
Not for me.
my panel. Thank you.